there is this way of thinking that the things that a person, a human being, has been through has caused suffering of one type or another, has caused trauma of one type or another. This is not entirely the truth as we see it. The soul is whole and complete in its characteristic form. It was created to be whole and complete, but all that was asked of it was for layers of understanding. These layers of understanding are what are required in order for the soul to move from perfection through other aspects. These other aspects are not so much trauma or damage as may well be accepted as being the truth. These other experiences, these other realities are merely opportunities for new levels of understanding to be accepted. It is almost as though they are layers which eventually give a complete picture. The picture was complete from the beginning, as love was always present. But in order for the picture to be dominant within its education, these other types of things, or as we might say, reality experiences, are offered, are so that the soul can recognize its own completeness without the opportunity to see what one can go through. There may not be the opportunity to understand how complete it always was. It seems like a complex conundrum, you might say. What is the point of going through alternative reality experiences if one was complete from the beginning? And the answer to this is that without understanding what not being complete is, being complete cannot be a conscious thought. Without understanding what incomplete is, complete cannot be facilitated. Completeness relies on the understanding that it is something to come back to. Coming back to the whole is coming back to the self, the oneness with God, the completeness with the Creator. And therefore, as such, it is not healing that is required within these formative aspects of life. Healing is not what is required. What is required is understanding. There is never a moment when a soul is not healed, when a soul is not complete within its very existence. The need for healing is an external place that one must put itself in to decide for itself that it needs something more. There is nothing more that a soul requires. It is just understanding this that brings the completeness. There are moments at which a soul will recognize that the desire to look outside of itself is no longer necessary. This is a journey back to Source. This is a journey back to the Creator. And this happens when the soul is entirely ready to acknowledge this truth for itself. There is a journey which we suppose you also know must be had. But that journey is really a journey back to the beginning. It is a circle as such. Perhaps you would like to see that as the circle of existence, the coming back to the oneness, the coming back to the truth. Often it has been seen that a soul will need to journey far away from this understanding before it is ready to come back, before it is ready to return to the beginning place. But it will happen, and this is the journey of the soul, to return back to that beginning place, that point at which everything started for it. Once one understands that each one of these layers of understanding are merely to offer a way home, then the soul will start to gravitate towards the beginning, towards the simplicity of what this really means for it. It is okay to veer off of the course, to go on the peripheral, as it were, to move away from the beginning is to come back to the beginning, as this is exactly what will happen. This is the journey of the soul. Therefore, when you ask about healing, we would like it to be understood that healing is just a conscious place that each individual soul gives themselves. Healing is this external opportunity to do the journey back to self. It is only necessary from the conscious point. If one was not to embark on the healing as such, then one would not move from the point in the first place. Therefore, the journey would not be carried out, and the understanding would not be had. Therefore, healing is necessary in order for the conscious part of the human to come back to self, as it were. We laugh as this seems like a fictitious programming, but really we understand that this programming is part of what was always meant to be. Therefore, our laughing is not out of jest, it is really out of love for how the human being is resilient and always so welcome to embark on new journeys, as this is part of the programming.